So let's move. We've talked about questions and we've talked about modules. Now let's talk about how you could do this from an entire course perspective. And again, what I show you here is just one or two examples, but the sky's the limit. I mean, I saw one question in the chat earlier about, how can we design our course if it's already set up? Believe me, there's really no limitations. You can play around with this, you can make changes, you can set it up the way that you need to set it up, either by selecting and not selecting the pieces that you want, or by choosing some of the preloaded materials that are available to you. So what I want to show you here is one example of a course that I ran a couple years ago. Here it is. And I'm showing you basically the entire course. So the students wouldn't see this all at the same time, but I put it all up so that you would see the entire thing. This was a classroom face-to-face course, and so in addition to the assessments that you see here, we also had classroom tests, we had a project or two, and we had like class participation. But this was the online material that they had. So I set it up using sort of a three-step process. So each week, they had a preview assignment. This preview assignment was due before we met. And it covered basic topics, definitions. I would pull topics from earlier in the book. So, things like identifying a constant term, identifying the coefficient. So reminding them about what the vocabulary was. What is a like term? What does it mean to simplify? And all of these were selected from the tutorial bank. So if the student needed that review from the tutorial, they could do it, but it was optional. I didn't want to force it upon them. And so that was there before the class even met. Then I give them a practice set. This is effectively their homework for the week. And this is where I would build in that scaffolding. So again, first time they see a problem, require a tutorial. Second time, maybe there's a video. Here's the horizontal, so this time it's different topic, so require tutorial, tutorial optional. And then every now and then I would throw in a problem where I asked them to show their work. Okay, or where I put it, earlier I saw somebody say, did you ever make or the question Jennifer shared earlier was, do you ever use the ones where the tutorial is optional? So question number 9, the tutorial is optional here. You can see it as a master it button. Okay. So that was their problem set, and they had all week to work on that. Then at the end of the week, they had a quiz, and the quiz was on Fridays, and it would open up on Friday, but if they achieved 80% on their practice set, then the quiz opened early. So that was sort of a motivation I used to get them to work through their practice set and to not save it for the last day, because if they got through it earlier in the week, like Wednesday, then they could immediately take their quiz. Otherwise, it wouldn't open until Friday morning. So this one here, I opened up so that you can see what it looks like. It shows here that I achieved an 80% on the practice set. And it also shows that this is a timed assignment. So this particular quiz, all of the quizzes here are timed. They're short. I mean, this is 6 questions, but you can see there's a clock in the upper right. I asked them to show their work on some problems, not all of them, but some of the problems. Okay. And so that was just a quick summary of their abilities. But notice there's no buttons here. There's no assistance. There's no videos. There's no tutorials. It's all just assumed that they've kind of learned the material by that point. Okay, so again, this is just one way of doing that. It incorporates that idea of giving them a lot of help in the preview, then having them practice it with tutorials, either mandatory or optional, along with videos, and then finishing off that scaffolding with a quiz at the end of the week, and then a test at the end of the unit in class. You can either design these yourself, like I've done. I wrote all of these assignments myself, or some of the materials that are provided in WebAssign, and I'll finish with this piece here, Some of the books come with course packs. So Jennifer mentioned this earlier. So I'm just going to go to here as an example. So here's, this is an Alfman Journey book. The course packs that are provided, there's 26 of them, which is just, I mean, it's more than you could ever hope to have. Has lecture videos and homeworks that are designed to sort of build to that, you know, learning, individual learning, where it helps break down the topics and build up to the eventual test. Another title that has these is the Stuart Calculus. So that's down here. So the Stuart Calculus is loaded with stuff. It has diagnostic tests. It has review from pre-calculus. This is also built into the book with these things called just-in-time problems, where it will allow students or instructors to easily find problems that cover pre-calculus concepts that are essential for the calculus that's being taught. And then within each of the sections, again, there's pre-lectures, there's homeworks, there's quizzes, there's reviews, there's tests. It's all built in there, and you can add all of them. You can pick and choose which ones you want. And as Jennifer said earlier, you can modify these as well.